Design Basics. I thought I would show you a card today using the Artistic Etchings, and I'm going to couple that with some of the Newsprint Designer Series paper, and I'm also going to use this vintage wallpaper impression folder, which I love. What I did was I took a piece of red, cherry cobbler, trying to get all the names down pat. I have to tell you, red has always been one of my favorite colors. I know you probably thought it was chocolate chip as much as I use it, but red has always been one of my favorites. But this particular shade of red, it just does it for me. It is an awesome shade of red. So what I did was I took my cardstock and I cut it in half, of course, and then I ran it through the vintage wallpaper impressions folder and got this beautiful texture on the front of it. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm not sure if you can see that. I sure hope so. I also wanted to show you what you can get if you take the same cardstock, and I could have done it here, but if you just take a sanding block and sand the top of it, you can kind of bring out some more of the detail if you really want that to shine. Here, I didn't want to bring that out as much. For this technique, I think it would be great if you just had a very simple sentiment on it, because otherwise it might compete with what your focal point is, and I didn't want that to happen. So I have my piece of cherry cobbler here, and I also took a piece of the newsprint paper, and I cut this down to 4 1/4 inches wide, and I think it's about 3 1/2 inches tall. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yep, it was about 3 1/2 inches tall this way. And notice when you tear this paper, because it has a white core, you can see the white. Well, for this particular card, I didn't want to see that white. So the way to avoid that, normally you would tear toward you, and that would give you the white impression. I'll show you that on this side. So you can see the white. Well, that holds true if I flip this piece over. I can either continue to tear it upside down, or I can tear away from me instead of toward me, and that doesn't give me that white edge. Okay, just a little tip for you. Now I wanted to distress this paper just a little bit, and I have found that this soft suede works really well. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can either go direct to paper, where you drag the stamp pad across the paper, or if you want, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a different look, you can go in with a sponge and get the same similar sort of a look. Just kind of dirtying it up, make it look a little bit old. Okay, so that's this piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this to my card. Because this is going over, oops, change out my cartridge real quick. Because this is going over this textured impression, I'm going to put a little bit of extra adhesive than I normally would, because it's raised, and I'm going to give it some extra bulk to keep it down. Okay, so I'm going to go up maybe 1/2 inch or so from the bottom. Put that down. Okay. Now I went ahead and took some vanilla cardstock, and on just a strip of vanilla with the same cherry cobbler ink, I used a little Amore stamp, which is in that set. And I'm going to cut the end so it looks like a banner on this edge. Now you could also use a square punch to get this same look, or you can use a pair of scissors. If you're going to use a square punch, you just put the corner in, hold it upside down, and just punch. Okay? So I'm going to create a little bit of a banner out of this, so I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit, break down some of the fibers. But since I distressed my background, I'm also going to do the edge of this as well. Keep the whole theme going. Okay, so just like that. Now, I'm going to take this other piece that I went ahead and stamped the Eiffel Tower in basic black, and I'm going to tear the top edge. Our cardstock is colored solid all the way through, so I don't have to worry about the white showing in this case. Tear down the side. So I'm going to do these two sides, and then I need to distress this as well. And because this is so large, I'm going to put a little bit in the center. I don't want the center to stand out too much. Otherwise it doesn't look gold. Alright, stick that up there. Now I've also taken a piece of basic black cardstock, and I want to keep that 1/4 inch edge, but I also want to tear. So I'm just going to hold this on here as my guide. Got to kind of hold that corner to get started. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not going to distress the black. Don't need that. It wouldn't hardly show up anyway. I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. Now this is my bottom edge. So here I'm going to hold off just a second. I want to put my banner down there. And to help me do that, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive just to hold the little banner edge in place. Just like that. And I'm going to punch with my crocodile. It's a little crooked, so let me straighten it. You know, I'm all about making sure things are straight. I'm using the small punch. Here's another tip for you. Just to make sure that they're the same distance apart, I'm using the edge of my punch and I'm punch part of the crocodile, and I'm just making it in line with the edge of that Amore border paper. Okay, so just like that. Now I'm going to use some gold brads, and the reason I'm using gold is because I use that soft suede. Go ahead and set this one. I use that soft suede, and it has a bit of a yellowy brown tone to it. I was going to put some rhinestone, the little adhesive rhinestones, the new ones, on, but it really needed this gold to tie it together. I love how easy the crocodile makes putting those eyelets in. Okay, so just like that. Now I need another dimensional. Put it over here where it can't be seen. And I'm also going to put one, oops, the paper backing came off that one, right here on the edge of my banner. Okay, I'm going to stick this down to my basic black layer. Just trying to get my edge, my corners straight. Not worried about the torn edge, just the cut edge. Okay, just like that. Now, let's put some dimensionals on here. I want to show you how I'm going to stick this ribbon. See how that paper came off? That's alright, no big deal. I'm going to take a piece of black satin ribbon. I love the satin ribbon. Can't wait to get more of the colors. And I'm just going to fish that through between the two. It's just a little different look versus running it behind it. And I'm going to go ahead and take the back off of my dimensionals. Not this one yet. I'm going to lay this down on my card with the ribbon sticking out. Get my edge straight. Okay. Now I can go ahead and tie my ribbon. Just gives it a little bit more depth, something different than having it underneath. But it does go still behind the card. You could put it behind your designer paper, but that's another layer that might not stick so well if you do that. I know some people don't like to see the ribbon in the back on the inside of the card, but it doesn't bother me. Just my standard knot. Trim the tails. Just like that. Now I'm going to take the little adhesive off of this dimensional, and I'm going to give my banner a little bit of a wave to it, and that dimensional is what's going to hold it in place to help it keep that shape. So there you have it. A fun little card with the artistic etchings. And if you look at this card, I think it looks like it took a lot longer and had a lot more work to it than it actually did. That's what this backgrounds will do for you, and these detailed stamps, and even distressing your paper a little bit, as simple as it is. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for more design basics.